Yo, I move in tranquility, also virility, keep it 100, and I move with fertility, giving birth to all the truth in the Caesar's planet, trying to be one of the dopest kings that received this planet, taking dominion, and I ain't got time for no minions. I just want to make this money, stack my bread up with millions, do this for my children, and do it all for my legacy. Let me see, wisdom, knowledge, long life, and longevity. I'm a king. I'm a king, I'm a king, I'm a king. Yo, what up? What's good? Y'all know what it is, man. We back again. Another week of the Virility Kings podcast. You know, it's me, Black Superman, and you know, we got Tony Mag back in the building, man. Hope y'all having a wonderful day. Hope y'all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Hope your holidays was on point. Hope your week was on point. How you feeling, Tony? How you feeling today, man? You good?
I am good, sir. Trying to get rehydrated because getting back in the gym and taking it one day at a time, baby.
I hear you on that, bro. And that's how we gotta take everything too, man. I'm realizing, man, one day at a time. Because when we take too much stuff on at one time, it could get to a point where we can't handle it. Then what we gonna do?
True.
But today is definitely going to be a good episode, guys. As y'all can see in the title, we're talking about stress management and stress management tips. This is a really big deal, especially for us as men. You know what I'm saying? And it's a big, huge part of masculinity. Being able to manage your stress is a huge part of masculinity because we need to embrace that stoic, grounded, leveled kind of rock personality and foundation. Because when we do that, obviously that shows that we're in control of ourselves, we're confident, we're secure. These are all key things for us as men and as kings, man. We have to be secure. We have to have control of who we are and what we are and where we are simply because of our positions, man. So we're going to dig deep, man. Thank you for everybody that's returning. Thank you for you guys that's supporting us, supporting the VKP Virility Kings podcast. We truly appreciate y'all. Thank you so much, man. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get straight into it. Now, the first thing that we're going to talk about concerning this is the importance of stress management. The importance of stress management. Tony, what do you think about the importance of stress management?
It is important because you do not want to basically, especially for men, we do not want to lead our life being led by our emotions. Because when something that challenges us comes about, we tend, people who are more emotional and don't have that stress management, they tend to either cower away or try to attack this thing that's making them uncomfortable because they're being challenged. And also the bad side of that, the things that make you comfortable, you always go for that. But everything that's comfortable is not necessarily good for you either. The 600-pound life people, they eat that food all the time because it brings them comfort from whatever their trauma is. That makes them comfortable, but then look at their long-term results. So it is important to have the stress management. I guess my biggest factor or help with that, my mother, she did lay the groundwork of my discipline. But when I joined the military, the point of that was to that stress in your face, actually go here, go there, get back up, get back down. All that mess was to break that civilian mentality of kind of doing things your own way. And after that was understood, basically, then here I became Tony Magnum. A lot of that helped out. So a lot of people want to say that, oh, I got my discipline from the Marine Corps. No. First part was my mother because she actually did her job. And next part was the Marine Corps. They sharpened the edge that was already there. So here I am.
Powerful, man. So when you say that, you know, in the Marine Corps, it definitely helped you out. Pretty much it sounds like you're saying that your mom was the biggest part in terms of helping you with that. So do you feel like the military gave you that edge to help you become fully rounded when it comes to that, when it comes to like stress management and discipline and things like that?
I believe so, because during the time, let's just say my little time in combat, it was basically the training just kicked back in rather than shock and awe and panic. So you just kind of defaulted to that. And then with that experience in the back of my head going on to other things, being a bouncer and a CEO, I had more of a cooler head of dealing with people who are trying to outman and out alpha you all the damn time. So it's like, okay, we're going to handle this by the books, and we'll see what level I got to take it.
Powerful, man. Yo, that's so powerful too, because especially being in those positions, you being a CEO or us as men, the type of positions that we're usually in, we have to have some type of structure or control when it comes to that, because we could easily step outside of our element, eat real easy. So yeah, I totally hear you on that, man, and that's dope. In terms of my view, I totally agree with everything you're saying, Tony. And man, stress management is very, very important. Like, I'm talking about all aspects of us being men really are based and relies on if we can handle our stress or not. Like, for one, what Tony is saying, if you're in position and you got a job that you got to do, if you can't manage your stress and your stress takes over you and gets control of you, you could easily step out of your element. If you stressed out, there's nothing that you could do. I mean, in that type of state, your mind could be so focused on your stress to where you can't even perform your job or your purpose or what you're supposed to be doing in the moment. That's why stress management is very important, especially for us as men. Also, relationships. Like me personally, like when I think about when I've been the most stressed, yo, I wasn't worth shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about at like a heightened state of stress. I'm talking about like, you know, because stress can get so bad that you could become depressed, man, if you can't manage it or can't handle it. So, depression is just a terrible can of worms when it comes to relationships, life, work, success, improving as a person, improving as a man. Shit, depression I had you not even wanting to do nothing, not wanting to do anything that brings joy to you or happiness. So that's another good reason why stress management is important, because then you might mess around and become depressed. Guys,
Very
for me being somebody who has been in and out of depression ever since I was an adolescent, I'm telling you, you do not want to be in that type of position. It makes you very, very susceptible to a very messed up mindset that can hold you back and cause you to be stuck in that and lower your progress. So, yeah, man. Honestly, I think stress management is probably one of the most important things in a man's life, man. Would you agree, Tony? I just feel like it's probably one of the most important, for real.
Yes, it is, because men, unfortunately, by the way society, not because of how it's going, it's the clinging of the way of the old that we don't want to pay attention to. Men are basically expected to suck it up every step of the way. That's why we get demonized if we do any kind of endless of weakness. We get caught up in the moment, man. We bust out crying. Freaking we act out of sorts and go crazy. Nobody feel any kind of pity for us. So it's kind of basically society is telling you to man up in a way because they won't tolerate you being weak and outlandish. So stress management, able to calm yourself and think through any given situation, think through it, is very important. It keeps you out of trouble. It keeps you in a more stoic mindset, as in, and then when you get accustomed to that, any situation comes your way, you could basically feel confident no matter where you're going. Um, that old phrase, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
You right about that, because I don't know what a gardener gonna be able to do when the wolves come out and when the gunplay start popping off and when the combat start happening. Actually, but I feel weird saying that because all of us as men should be able to garden, actually, and it's not feminine at all. It's a very masculine thing, and it's actually uh, a way of preservation as human beings. We all, as men, we all need to learn how to garden because we never know what the world gonna do, how it's gonna be, and that might be the only thing that we can really rely on in terms of eating. I know that's kind of random, but it's some real shit. So, guys, don't think gardening is feminine. As men, we need to learn how to grow our own food. Just want to throw that
Oh,
gem out there real quick.
I think that statement referred to actually just planting flowers rather than legit
Oh,
farming agriculture.
I feel you. I feel you. I just want to make sure I'm not counteracting what you're saying. I just want to make sure I say that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how we are as men. The way that the world is, man, and the way that the world, even to piggyback off of what you're saying, like the way that the world pushes us to man up. right? Oh, man up, man up. I would look at stress management as a healthy way of manning up rather than holding in all your emotions, being quiet, not expressing your true state and your true feelings, and allowing yourself to implode with emotions. I feel like the real, authentic, best way to man up would literally be by controlling and managing your stress and your emotions as men. I honestly think that that's the outcome and the result of stoicism in men. You see a
Mm.
stoic man, he has mastered his emotions and he's figured out how to manage his stress. You know, so yeah, man, that's real. Ooh, we already getting nice and juicy before it even. That's what I like. That's what I like. You know what I'm saying? Virility Kings podcast, man. We getting nice and juicy. This is good. Okay, so we got, let me see, Sharon Constable. Oh, we got Sharon Constable back. What's up, Mom Dukes? Salute to Sharon Constable. She's back. Hey, she said hello, guys. Salute. Glad to have you back on the podcast, of course. Most definitely. So yeah, that, just the importance of stress management. It's very important as men, guys. I'm telling y'all, we have to get this thing down. If we take on the path that society leads us to do and pushes us to do, and that's holding back all your emotions, not being vulnerable or expressing your truth, right? Being afraid to speak up. What's going to happen is all of that shit is going to implode. It's literally going to implode, and when it implodes, guess what? You blow the fuck up, and then you may essentially do some shit that you either regret, um, and that's not manning up at all. It's not manning up, guys. Manning up is learning how to manage your stress. So then when these things happen, you really are manning up because you already got this shit mastered in your head and in your heart. So yeah, stress management is very important for men, guys. All right, so the next thing we're gonna get into, um, Tony, what's your view and how do you view stress and its effects on health? Stress and its effects on health. What's your view on that, man?
Stress can negatively affect your health. And there's a difference between a positive stress and a negative stress. So a positive stress would be something that you're putting yourself constructively through, i.e., going to the gym. Yes, it is a stress. It can be a headache, the time and discipline, yada yada. But you get a more tangible outcome out of it. A negative stress, a lot of it can be playing with just emotions. You're not thinking right about the situation. When I was doing my rebuilding process, what was that? Freaking October 2017. By the time before I even knew what happened, I was actually developing bald spots in the back of my head.
Mm.
And first I was thinking, oh, it's just because I'm getting older, it happens. No, it turned out it was because of stress. Because when I was actually got the ball rolling again and started to see some momentum, it went away. And I'm like, wow, why the hell is it gone? I thought I was like, okay, I got a ball spot back here. No, now it's gone. It was stress that was basically making my hair fall out. I was like, whoa, that was real. But also the idea of, that's where stress is having a negative effect. I don't know what else it was doing to me, but the mental clarity of trying to stay focused and keep on the grind, I basically got control of it. It just, my body was reflecting it more than my mental state or even my emotional state. It was just do it, do it, do it, keep working. We're going to get this positive train going. And while the hair was falling out, but then it's like, okay, I could come back. Things are looking better.
Yeah, man, I feel you. Did you notice any like actual feelings, like physical feelings that were different? Like your body, your energy, did you notice anything else, or was the bald spots really that thing that you noticed the most that caught your attention?
The ball spot was the only thing that really caught my attention because I was still trying to go to the gym and just focus on my grind. I guess also I was a little bit more leery of people because I didn't want any distractions.
Mm.
So if that was a negative thing too, I calmed down a little bit more from that point. But yeah, I was on my grind, man. I was like, nope, I can't have any distractions. I got to freaking get myself going. Got to build my kingdom.
I feel you, bro. Yep, we got to do that. Got to build a kingdom, man. And that's commendable as well. That you was grinding so hard, but at the same time, oh shit, yeah, you was able to feel. Damn, I almost caught a cramp, y'all. I just got out the gym. Damn it, shit. Ooh, all right. Right in the hamstring too. All right. But yeah, it's commendable. You know what I'm saying? You grinding, you're doing what you got to do, and you're experiencing the stress. But sometimes I think our body lets us know too, and that was probably one way that your body was letting you know, like, all right, Tony, I know you're doing your thing. I know you're trying to build your kingdom and all that, but man, you got to chill out a little bit. I mean, like, got to slow down a little bit. So that makes sense, bro. Yeah. Now, yo, for real, stress can be a killer. You know what I'm saying? For sure. Like stress can definitely drop you where you stand. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's something that a lot of people may overlook. A lot of the times people deal with a lot of health issues simply because of stress. When we have a lot of stress, right? We're confused a lot, we're pressured a lot, we're angry a lot, we feel anxious a lot. These things stir up a lot of hormones in us, right? Cortisol is one of the main stress hormones that we have in our body, right? It's actually the main thing. That also with like adrenaline, obviously, that's another stress hormone um, for like fight or flight, things like that. But when you're dealing with that stress a lot, your cortisol levels are raising and raising and raising. And for us men, the reason why it's bad for us as men is because cortisol is literally like the opposing hormone to testosterone. So the higher our cortisol levels get, guess what happens? That cortisol starts fighting against testosterone. And see, us as men, we need testosterone. Women do too. But obviously, we need more testosterone than women do. You know what I'm saying? So it's a very, very serious hormone for us. And if we stressed all the time, that's going to lower our testosterone levels. Low testosterone levels come with all types of side effects, y'all. Depression, uh, your dick ain't working, erectile dysfunction, anxiety, low energy, lethargy, weight gain, hard to lower your body fat, just a number of things that could further and further just make you feel like shit. So this is why it's so important, guys, because stress can literally turn you into a bitch. Like literally. Essentially, you know what I'm saying? Because the lower our testosterone is, man, I'm telling you, any imbalance. That's why balance is so important with life in every facet. I'm really learning that. I feel like that's the biggest message that God taught me in the last couple of years. Balance is so important in life because once things get out of balance, it knocks everything else off course. So if your testosterone is getting lower, other hormones are going to raise, other hormones are going to lower, and it just knocks shit off. If your cortisol getting high, testosterone going to get low. That right there, as far as us being men, should be enough for a man to be like, yo, I need to really like manage my stress. There's so much more to it, all the way to high stress raising inflammation in your body, which is the precursor to a lot of diseases and degenerative diseases. That's a big deal. So high inflammation is terrible. There's other things that stress can do to your body and your health that's negative, but listen, let that be the biggest thing. Like, yo, if you stressed out all the time, your testosterone is going to suffer. Your testosterone is going to suffer. And listen, testosterone is the key hormone for us as men. So always remember that, guys. Like, yo, you getting stressed out, you get mad, you might feel your testosterone raging in the moment, but you keep doing that consecutively all the time, it's affecting your T levels, it's affecting your health. So, always remember that, y'all. Sometimes it's good if you feel yourself about to rage and flip out and your life ain't in danger or you're not protecting your loved ones or something like that, and it's just you just upset with somebody, might be better for you to just kind of just fall back and get yourself together first. Because you're gonna end up hurting you in the end. And it's just not worth it at the end of the day. So
I had a recent hit butt with somebody, and I'm feeling the adrenaline pumping, the little shaking in the hand. But I'm over here like, just keep calm. You're over here just blasting him right now with logic, so you'll need to freaking get physical with him. These young punks, man, I tell you.
It'll be always be them young ones, man, because they think they know like everything and shit. They don't know nothing yet.
It's like I don't know. I can't think of my time where I was honestly that arrogant where I thought I knew all the answers. I don't know. I coming into adulthood, I just knew I did not know everything. I had to learn. So some people, especially back in the Marine Corps, they like, oh, you might be you the biggest bitch of the Marine Corps. Why? Because I'm not violent or freaking trying to beat on my chest like you want to be alpha motherfuckers. I mean, come on now.
Exactly.
And none of y'all going to try to put your hands on me. I already told you that other story of that person I flipped out on, but that's different shit. It's about controlling that emotion. You feel that rage. It's the situation doesn't dictate. You need to calm down and just think through it.
Hell yeah. And let that be a reminder too, y'all. Like this is one of the things that I'm starting to do now. Like when I feel triggered by somebody, right? My main thing now is to literally look inward instead of looking outward, right? Because I used to do that shit all the time. And essentially what I was doing is when I got triggered, I immediately looked to the person and immediately made them responsible for the trigger. But in all actuality, when we're triggered, it's literally something with us, inside of us, that doesn't make sense or feel right to us. So the first place we need to go to is in us, because if we go on to somebody else, they can't help us with that shit. So
True.
everything that they're already doing is already triggering the hell out of us. So what the hell are they going to be able to do? They ain't going to be able to do anything. So I realized that, next time I get triggered, that's a reminder for me to come inside of myself or look inwardly as a man, guys. Remember that. Look inwardly and really understand, why am I triggered? Yo, Kev, why you triggered, man? Yo, Black Superman, why you so triggered by this motherfucker? You know what I'm saying? Or by whomever or whatever. Because essentially, guys, what we need to realize is that that thing is having power over us in the moment, whether we want to admit it or not. In that moment, if we are highly triggered by someone, something, or whatever they're doing, they got the power right then and there. So I quickly learned, and I realized once, like, I just kept feeling myself just feeling super triggered, and then trying to deal with that by talking to the person, and then that turning into more and more, and then it blowing up, and then now you got two heated people, and now it's just like, yeah. Then after the fact, I feel even more fucking stressed. I started to realize, I'm like, yo, this shit ain't adding up. Like, I'm not improving my situation by going to the person immediately when I'm triggered. It was when I started to turn and look inward to myself and really, really dig deep and figure out, like, why does this trigger me so much? Is it something that happened in my childhood? Is it something? Is it a core belief that I have? Do I feel threatened? Do I feel, unsafe? Do I feel, what am I feeling right now? What's going on with me? I'm telling y'all guys, when we do that, it puts us in a position of more control over why we feel the way we do. Because guess what? I know I'm killing it, y'all. I'm gonna keep going though. Once you identify why you're so triggered by what the person is doing, guess who you free? You free yourself. Because now that you understand and you realize that the reason why you're so triggered is really because of you and not them, now you're in control. Now you're in the power, because now you know why you're triggered and it's not them. So you don't even have to let it even bother you as much anymore. It can't, because you realize it ain't even them for real. Unless they are intentionally triggering you. I'm talking about like intentionally doing something clear and blatant, and they're intentionally trying to trigger the shit out of you. That's different, obviously. I'm talking about the things that just bother you, and you're not really sure if they're trying to intentionally do it to you or not. Kind of like this really bothers me. It really blah blah blah. Look inward. Look inward, guys. I'm telling you, you'd be surprised to realize that the only reason why it triggers you is because of something that you're thinking, a belief that you have that may not even be fully accurate, or a core belief about yourself that may not be accurate, and that's why you feel the need to do something about it. It makes you feel a certain way, anxious, mad, and upset. Dig deep within yourself, guys. That's all I'm saying. For sure. All right. So that's a big one right there, man. I'm telling you. That's a real big one. And that helped me out a lot once I was able to look inward. All right, y'all. So we're gonna move on to the next thing with this stress management. Look, if y'all are enjoying what we're talking about and what we're saying, go ahead and throw a like on the video right now. Hop in the chat, man. Say what's up, man. We're gonna say it back. We're gonna share your comment in your chat. And just show some love. And real quick, just gonna do a quick word concerning our sponsor. Another one of our sponsors, guys, is Superhuman Apparel. All right, Superhuman Apparel. Now, Superhuman Apparel is a clothing line, right, pretty much encourages guys to become superhuman, men and women, to become your best self, right? Well, we have pretty much rebranded our whole brand. The brand used to be called Superhuman Wear, or it used to be Superhuman Wear. Now it's Superhuman Apparel. And we're rebranding to a point where we got a whole new logo and everything, right? As you can see, we got the shirts, long sleeve, got the joggers, got the bomber jackets, and we got a whole lot more, right? But essentially, what you could do right now is you could save 25% just by using promo code Thanksgiving 25. Promo code Thanksgiving 25. We have a lot of dope apparel and new stuff. As you can see, there go the line. But this is the new addition to the brand. We have a new logo, and it's the Superhuman line, guys. Look, I would love to see y'all in the brand. I would love to see y'all rocking this. We got a lot of dope stuff coming out. Don't worry, you guys will hear about it on this podcast. And you'll probably see one of our ads on Facebook and different social media platforms. But yeah, man, support the brand, guys. We push this out there. We're trying to encourage people to become a superhuman version of themselves, guys. So this is just a couple things. Go to fasttrainhill.com. You could actually go check out all of the stuff and a whole new superhuman lion uh, apparel and line. And man, grab you something, man. Grab you something. Save 25%. Thanksgiving 25. Once again, that's Thanksgiving 25. Website fasttrainhill.com, y'all. All right. Salute to all the supporters that's already supporting. Thank y'all, man. It means the world. We're trying to get this around the globe. All right. Now, back to your feature presentation now. So, yeah. Okay, so we got a comment real quick. I'm going to hit this comment before we go into the next part of the material. So, Robert Powerhouse, he said, long time supporter. He said, appreciate all the hard work, education, and honesty you put into your videos. I appreciate both of you, brothers. I appreciate both of y'all for sharing your stories. God bless you. Man, Robert Powerhouse. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot, man. That means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to Tony too, man. For real, man. We really appreciate you. Thank you for supporting, man. Thank you for sticking with me. I look to just advance, grow, and inspire and influence and help a lot of other people, man. Impact people. That's all this is about. So thank you, man. And when you get a chance, man, grab you some of that superhuman apparel, man. I want to see you in it. Tag us. Tag us on Instagram at superhuman.apparel. And yeah, man, if you've been rocking with me for years, man, you superhuman fam. All right. You are superhuman fam. So cop the apparel, man. Represent and let's get this thing around the world. You feel me? All right. So here's the next thing we're gonna dig into, y'all. And thank you again, Robert Powerhouse, for that comment, man. Salute. All right. So, Tony, what are personal ways you've handled stress correctly? What are some personal situations or ways that you've handled stress correctly?
Handle stress correctly. Okay. You're talking about a moment where I'm feeling the stress, the rage, want to act out of sorts.
Yeah, pretty much just, a moment where you actually was able to manage your stress, or maybe a time in your life where you were very stressful. How what are some times where you were able to do that, and how did you go about it?
I think one of my default things about when it comes to stress management is the passion I do have about going to the gym. It definitely helps me basically filter out the BS. Unlike you, I know there's some people out there that go to the gym angry and they're like, oh, I gotta get a good workout in like that.
Yeah.
I've never been that guy. The gym for me is a very zenful thing. Yeah, maybe some monstrous looking weight going up and down, blah blah blah. But it's like it's a mental focus, mental clarity for me. And then that's how I decompress and detox. So I think that's my default thing, to just clean myself out, filter. Now, when it comes to actually dealing with the people, I guess I'm an introvert. It exhausts me to actually deal with people. I may be a person. I was like, I could talk to you and we BS, but it is kind of stressing me out. It does eat at my energy, if you will. So by the time I'm done with that, and once I come back to my little crib, I'm decompressing. I'm like, ooh, we got to prepare to do that again. I know it's weird, but it's true. But and then when I'm in a really stress situation, let's just say I'm dealing with a legit knucklehead, I just basically I try to defeat them with logic. So it's like they come at you with some BS off the ground. It's like literally arguing with a freaking 10-year-old at times. And if I can get you to build your own cage with the words that come out of your mouth, and then I just put in that logical lock and key. Oh, really? So if all this is true, then this should be true too, right? Gotcha. And that's how I defeat people with logical arguments. Uh, Inmates got pissed at me when I did it to them. Uh, People when I bounced them, they upset with me too. But also sometimes you got to go hands on, especially in a bouncing scenario where it's like you gotta anticipate the action. So either you're there, you wall them off with your body, or sometimes you just gotta push their body out, one or the other. So here's an example. One inmate. Now this is a dude I knew from high school. So him being
Cool.
in jail wasn't too far of a stretch. But apparently his little backstory, he got a hold of some bad weed and his buddy died and he just went downhill after that. So here I am seeing him. He
Mhm.
tried to try to be all buddy buddy with me. I'm like, you better cut that out, man. I know, but cut it out. Then this one day he just straight up rubbed my head. I was like, and the other inmates were looking like, holy shit, he touched Wilcox, and how he do that? And so I went to his cell, like, hey man, I can't be having you acting that way. He wasn't hearing any of that. So whatever. This next day, he's pissed off again. He's just one of those guys that try to find that little moment to act fool.
Mhm.
He's up in my face. Me and the corporal just listened to him. He's up in my face. Spit is flying. Like
Oh.
I'm like, I
Oh
swear to God,
no.
if you touch me, I'm slamming you up against that wall. But go ahead, keep this yelling, keep this energy up, get everything out, get
Mhm.
everything out, because it's like you got to think. Like yes, this little man, I could fucking just smash him, throw his ass over that ledge, and call it a day. I could do that, but since that would be inappropriate, I basically let him get just be in my face, yelling and shit. He's doing all that bullshit, but then we finally got him out of the cell when he wasn't really. He was trying to get that provocation, like you said, where people are trying to agitate you.
Mhm.
But since I've mastered my emotions pretty well, as in I'm kind of accustomed to this now.
Yeah,
It's
you ain't
like
perfect.
okay,
Yeah.
I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I'm staying calm. I'm staying in my stance right here, basically waiting on you to make a move. And so he didn't do anything naturally because he wants to go cry to some daddy entity. So basically just took him out of there. At one last one. One inmate. I bullied this inmate. I did
Oh shit.
because I bullied this one because he was mad because I'm laying down the law. Y'all need to stop acting the damn like idiots. And he's over here whining and stuff. I'm like, all right, that's too much. I got to get him out of here. His bed book is full. Let's get him out of here. I'm over there. The officer showed up to escort him. I just walk over there to his cell. All right, put your hands behind your back. You're going out. Man, come on, you can't be doing this. I'm 33 years old and I got a daughter. Well, I feel sorry for her. Now put your hands behind your back. Man, fuck you. Back, please. Then he turned around, put his hands behind his back, hooked him up. He's talking shit. I'm like, he's like, yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just keep moving.
It's crazy, man. That's the thing. Like, man, when people turn into these different types of triggers, what I've realized over the years is that's just practice. It's practice. Like, especially when I started realizing, like, yo, you need to manage your stress. Like when I started really like acting volatile simply because of my stress and what I ended up doing, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, I gotta figure something out. I have to figure out how to manage this shit because I end up doing things that I regret. And that's the biggest thing, especially being a man. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to have to regret a lot of things in our lives. And we want to come to that place of peace where we don't regret anything. Even if it was bad or good, it's literally what was necessary for us to become who we are today. But in a nutshell, yeah, man, I feel you on that. Like I like that's probably where a lot of my stuff is gonna come from when I express my part, right? Other people, you know what I'm saying? Because that's really a lot of times that's where it stems from. But real quick before I go into mine, I do want to see what Robert was talking about real quick. I don't want to pass him over real quick. So Robert Powerhouse, he said, "My goal is to be a good human. It's a reflection of God, and I see that in both of you." Salute, man. Salute, 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 man. Listen, we all are a reflection of God, man. We all created in the image of God. So we always got to remember that. I mean, that's my belief. Obviously, I know everybody don't have my belief, but it's mine. Um, I believe that we always created in the image of God. So we all have that wonderful, powerful thing in it. That's worth. That's a limitless worth simply because we're created in the image of God. We have the choice to move in that essence. So it's dope. And he said, "No worries, I'm definitely grabbing the merch." My man, listen, when you get that merch, tag us, man. Shout me out. And shout us out. Because I'm serious, y'all. Like people, sometimes like my vision be so high that it be over people's heads, and when people hear me make these statements, they be like, "Man, you crazy." But sometimes I'll be like, "Yo, I want Superhuman to be up there with Gymshark one day." Like that's my goal,
Mhm.
and I know that's a big ass lofty goal, right? I told one guy, one of my friends, this. I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm trying to get Superhuman to Gymshark." He was like, "Pfft." He was like, "What?" He laughed at me, and I was like, "Okay, this guy, he shouldn't be my friend." You know, 'cause- oh
Those little self doubts right there, do they get you kind of low key motivated? Like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, it
like,
do, it do. They be like, "Oh, okay. Oh, so you think this shit funny? All right. So we'll see." We'll see, motherfucker. When I'm there and I ain't talking to you no more, we ain't cool no more, and then you see my brand. You see that, you see that Superhuman line somewhere. You be at a baseball game and you look at the damn screen and you see Superhuman. Then we'll see who laughing. You know what I'm saying? But anyway.
get them,
But
get them.
see, Tony, when you say get him, Tony, I'm a start, man. But in all actuality, yeah, it do motivate me. It do motivate me. Sometimes I be wanting people to do that, just to give me that bigger dose. Like, oh, so you trying to say I can't do it? All right, let me show you.
See, that's turning a stress, something that's irritating you, into a positive though. That's a good sign right there.
Yes, yes. It's something that I honestly had to learn how to do because for years I really would allow people's seeds of doubt to really dampen me, yo. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm gonna be vulnerable here, man, as a man, especially when I was younger, because I grew up with that as a kid. In my household. Like, I know my mom, she didn't mean any harm, but I want to do a lot of things, and my mom, she would sow seeds of doubt. But I think it was because she would picture herself in my position, and she would think about herself in the situation, and if she'd be able to do it. A lot of people do that actually. I don't think that they mean any harm to like dampen anybody's ambition or goals or endeavors. I think people just do that sometimes simply because they're being overly sympathetic and they're putting themselves in your shoes and they're thinking about what they think they could do in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, man, once I learned that helped me so much with managing stress too, because I was able to like figure out like, oh, okay, well, shit. This person, he actually don't believe that he could do what it is I'm trying to do. And that's the only reason why he's doubtful. You
Correct.
know, it's not anything towards me, but this actually leads to my whole point of what I was going to say. So, in terms of some personal ways on how I've handled like stress correctly. Here's one way, and it was literally off of me receiving this revelation from God that I believe, and it's a part of what I was just saying. But people do things and people act certain ways because of their problems, because of their issues, and because something isn't sitting right within them in the moment. And once I was able to get that in my head, I'm like, all right, bet shit. I could be having some problems with my wife. I could be having some problems with my mom. I could be having some problems with friends, old friends, new friends. And it's not all about me. I don't have to take it all personally anymore.
Mhm.
So I started looking at every situation like that. I'm like, oh shit. So this is the cheat code. Like I've been looking at everything wrong. I've been taking everything personally when in all actuality, all I got to do is just remember that the reason why people do or act or be the way that they are in the moment negatively is simply because they got something negative going on within them. It has nothing to do with me, essentially.
You are correct. Good shit.
Yeah, so that right there really took me to a whole nother level in terms of managing stress. Like, Yo, I'm telling you, it's like being in the dark and out of nowhere you get like a light, man. You know, light light will always overpower darkness. That's why you got a little baby light in the dark room. You gonna see that baby light. I don't care if it's like only like a centimeter in size. You know what I'm saying? In diameter, like that little baby light is gonna shine in that darkness, and it's because light is so powerful. Once I received that light, it was like, oh shit, so I can start looking at this stuff differently. So a good example, um, dang, do I want to use that? I don't know. That might. All right, so me and my wife, you know what I'm saying? Because when you married, man, you know what I'm saying? You and your significant other, you know, y'all gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have disagreements. You're gonna have situations where y'all don't see eye to eye because y'all are individual people. Always remember that, guys. And you know, there might have been a couple situations where maybe my wife was acting a bit different, or I noticed some changes. And before in the past, you know, I would take it personally. I'd either be thinking, you know, it was me, or like, or you know, she's trying to mess with me, or you know what I'm saying, just taking all these things personally. Once I was able to think in that way, in that mind frame, I was able to further assess the situation a lot better. So I wouldn't get so stressed because I was able to see the reality. So like I'm gonna just say anything. Like say I don't know, say my wife come home or something, I'm already at the house, and my wife come home and she, you know, she just ain't really like interacting like that, you know,
Mhm.
or she kind of got an attitude, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just asking a simple question and she's just kind of responding, you know, with like an attitude or something. When I started to wake up to this, what I did was is I immediately looked inwardly and I'm like, all right, Kev, so why does this bother you first and foremost? Why does it bother you that she has an attitude right now?
Mhm.
And when I looked into myself, see another tip real quick too, guys. Fuck.
Oh, is this the laptop thing? Yep, it's the laptop thing. Um, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go ahead and take over till Kevin gets resituated. Let's see, we're talking about techniques of dealing with stress. Men, logic is king. You have to think through the situation. Do not use violence or hands-on situations unless one, violence is brought onto you, or you're defending someone else. And also, is that someone else worth defending? Just because somebody's acting crazy and you like them, that doesn't mean they probably are not deserving of the ass whooping they may be getting. Let's just sort that. Just remember, when it comes to your emotions, and also society will punish men a lot more greatly than women ever will. So we have to remember that, to actually have it in the back of our head to act like our ratchet mama and them, it is not going to work. Let me tell you another story of stress where I had to deal with stress. This one dude, back in the Marine Corps, he was one of these guys that wanted to be the super alpha Chad of the group all the time. So naturally, he picking me, the big dude, to fuck with. So while he's doing all his yada yada yada, this one particular day, instead of defending myself in the battle of egos, I let him win. I was like, I got loud and basically put him on blast. I'm like, you know what, E Dog, you the man. You the biggest, baddest Marine in here. Don't worry about little old me. I'm the biggest bitch in the Marine Corps. I took all that all that ego out of the play, and it kind of made him look silly and expose how much of a jackass he was. So that's another way to handle stress. Sometimes you just let the chump of the situation win, just to show how silly he is. Kevin, you back?
I'm back, man. I'm back. And let me tell you, I'm gonna let y'all know what's happening because I need to go ahead and express it. So this has happened probably about 2 times, right? And what's happening is the battery to my computer dies, and the charger that I got in there, it's not working fully. You know what I'm saying? So it'll look like it's charging, but it's not fully charging, and then it just
Mhm.
cuts off. So that's what happened just now, and that's what's happening whenever that happens. So I'm gonna work on that, make sure that don't happen no more. But
Also, the hands waving, you wasn't making any noise. Like, wait, what's going on? No, no.
I'm like, no, stop. I'm like, please, no, because I was really digging deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems to happen right when I'm digging deep, like right when I'm really touching a good point, then it pops off like that. But It's all right, man. I'm gonna fix that. We ain't gonna have to worry about that no more. All right. And it sounded like what you were saying was powerful too. It just sounds like you was talking about understanding the individual and not making a big deal out of it. Don't let the person control you. I kind of caught some of what you were saying, but it definitely sounded powerful for sure.
Yeah, just sometimes if someone's being a jackass, hey, feed into his jackass rate. Hey, you the big dog. Look at you, the toughest guy here. Everybody clapping up for E Dog. He's the tough one.
Exactly. And he gonna feel stupid as hell. He gonna be like, damn, well shit. Okay. But see, but back to what I was saying too. So yeah, I believe I was using my wife and us as an example. So she comes home, boom, she kind of got an attitude. And I'm like, oh, once I figured this thing out in terms of realizing that everybody do things and act certain ways simply because of how they feel and what's going on with them, once I was able to think about that, I immediately was able to look inward and within me. I'm like, okay, so why does this bother me? And when I did that, I was able to really identify that the reason why that bothered me or bothers me so much is simply because of my childhood and my mom. Sometimes she'd be in a real uppity good mood and I'd be happy, and then sometimes she'd just be real down. You know what I'm saying? Or upset. My mom, her emotions. She's a very animated but also emotionally heightened person. So if she happy, you gonna know she happy. If she's sad, you gonna know she's sad. If she's upset, you gonna know she's upset. So being raised up around somebody or by somebody like that, it would cause me to feel very unsafe or even emotionally unsafe because I don't know what to expect. It's kind of like one of them situations where you're like, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna get. Is she gonna be happy? Is she gonna be mad? Is she gonna be, loving and embracing me and validating me and loving me, or is she gonna be kind of pushing me away or irritated or uh kind of not really trying to show me any attention. So with all of that self-reflection, I was able to identify that the reason why that triggered me so much when my wife would kind of act different when she came home is simply because of that trauma that I went through as a kid. And it re-sparks those old feelings and those old traumas that I went through. And it literally feels like I'm back in that moment again. So once I was able to identify that, I'm like, okay, so this is really my problem. Like this is really my childhood trauma that's pretty much being triggered. And I go through a whole process in which I'm able to really talk myself through these things and to help myself understand, like, listen, man, you're good. You're a grown man now. You don't need that anymore. You're secure. You're safe. You're boom, boom, boom. You validate yourself. All these good things. Pretty much a good pep talk for myself. Then I was able to also look at my wife in a more clear lens. Like, okay, so she acting like that because she feeling some type of way. It ain't got shit to do with me. You know, that's something that she got going on, and it's her responsibility to come and communicate to me about it. If she got a problem with me, she need to come talk to me about it. That's her responsibility. So essentially what I was able to do is take me out of the equation of what somebody else was doing. That's the best way I could put this. And that was a very good way of me dealing with a stressful moment like that because I was able to self-reflect and I was able to disconnect myself from my wife and understand that, whatever she got going on, it ain't got nothing to do with me. If it does, then she has the responsibility to come and talk to me and let me know. That's an example. Um, but yeah. Anytime that I've ever been able to manage my stress better, in situations like that, it's usually me looking inward and trying to really understand why am I stressed to begin with. Then I go to the person. I start with me first, then I go to the person. Because when I start with the person first, I'm be super pissed, I'm be super mad, I'm gonna find reasons to take it personally, and it's the person's wrong. The person's wrong. So yeah, that's one big way that really helped me deal with that. Now, as far as like literally being in situations where I'm stressed because maybe things ain't going my way or the way I wanted to go, one thing that really helps me a lot is getting by myself for a minute. I learned this in anger management when I had to go back when I was in Job Corps, back when I was 19. And the lady that was pretty much doing the classes and stuff, she told me, she said, listen, whenever you feel mad and overwhelmed, you literally need to go somewhere by yourself and literally just breathe. She was like, breathe in your nose and then breathe out longer than you took your inhaled in through your nose. So, and blow out like as if you're blowing out of a straw. So, like, and I kid you not, y'all, I kid you not. To this day, that shit works wonders. And it only take like 2 minutes for me of me doing that, anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes of me doing that. And I literally feel way more relaxed and way more calmer and even more at peace. But if I do it for longer than 5, if I like go somewhere and do it for like 10 minutes, I feel brand new, bro. It's like it's a powerful thing, man. It's a real awesome way to relieve stress when you physically feel stressed. Like when you physically feel overwhelmed by whatever's going on. It could be another person, it could be, I don't know, something you're trying to do, getting your money right, getting stuff situated, and shit ain't working the way you want it to work. Man, just go somewhere by yourself for a little while and try that out. Just try it out. It really worked for me, and it really works for me. Just breathe in your nose, blow out longer than you breathe in. And yeah, man, I call it breathing in good stuff, good emotions and good vibes, and then blowing out all the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Just letting all that, the stress you're feeling out. And that's literally what it feels like. It feels good. So yeah, those are a couple times where I feel like I personally handled stress and managed it better by taking responsibility for myself and not trying to blame somebody else for my stress, because that's what we all tend to do, unfortunately, before we accept it.
I guarantee a lot of problems that we have, and we got to double check the man in the mirror. If we double check him, make sure that motherfucker squared away, a lot of the stress just basically goes away. So proud of you, man, for saying that. Yeah. Personal accountability, that helps out so much.
Thank you, man. It does. It does. It's life changing, y'all. It's very life changing, and it took a while for me to learn that. It took a long time for me to learn that. This is another reason too why I do this podcast, simply because I'm just hoping that for when I can impact people, help people, we can help people. But also, if I got some younger guys watching me, I'm just hoping that you could learn this shit way before I did. Because I'm telling you, if I would have learned this shit at 17, 18, oh my God, it would have transformed my entire life. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I wouldn't have done things that I did. I would have been able to maintain my life a lot better. I would have been on my feet a lot quicker. I wouldn't have made senseless decisions and choices with money, choosing people, just a number of things, man, if I would have knew these things. So young guys, take notes. And even older guys, take notes if you deal with this too, or if you realize you still kind of fall into that line of not managing stress well, you're going to notice an amazing change in your life. I'm telling you, for sure. So we're gonna move on to the next portion. So now, since we talked about some times where we correctly handle stress, right?
Mhm.
What are some wrong ways of handling stress, or handling or managing your stress? What's some hard ways, Tony?
The wrong way, definitely getting violent when there's no legitimate threat. That's definitely the wrong way to do it.
Facts.
Somebody's over there talking shit. Go to my CO days, freaking even these crazy people who even want to drop the M bomb in your way. You can't just freaking fly off the handle and hurt them, because like you said, a lot of their shit that they're doing is a reflection on them, their own problems. They're just trying to use you as a punching bag for the moment.
Facts.
It was like I just had a double situation going back to the CO days, man. That you talk about stress, you get me stressed out right now. But this one, I found out that this one cat, now this is a white guy, but so I want to throw that in because of the racial thing that gets played. He found out that just looking back and forth, he stole another inmate's blanket and booking. So when I found out it was him, I basically took all the blankets away to reissue out. Everyone has their one. And for some reason, the guy he stole the blanket from, I don't know why he wanted to defend him. I'm like, I was trying to do you a favor. What the hell? And so when I'm taking the blanket, like, give me the blanket. just holding on to it. I'm like, man, I grab the blanket, give it up, and I end up snatching the blanket from him by yanking him, pushing him back. He wants to say, drop it the big ear, nigger. And I'm like, that's all you got? Is that all you got?
What do you say? What do you say in response to that?
He can't say anything because I've been called worse than that. Come on now, shoot. But anywho, so I get the blanket out. The other CO, who was kind of like my training officer at the time, he's like, "Hey, what happened?" Like, don't worry, it all got handled. We good. And he got mad at me because I told him it just got handled. He called me over into the back. He called me into the back. He's like, "Look, man, when I ask you a question, you got to answer me and stuff like that." I'm looking him up and down, and I'm seeing his adrenaline's pumping. I'm seeing the hand shaking and everything. I'm like, "Dude, I handled the situation. Nothing happened. I handled the situation." He, I guess at the time, he felt like I was trying to boss man him. Like, no, I just handled the situation. I appreciate you right there on the back end, but you got to respect the fact. Sorry, CO talk right here. When the lead officer has the foothold the situation, you back him up, no matter who it is. But I don't know. That was a little moment right there. Another inmate. Now this is a black dude. And I know here comes the it's kind of resembling of the how I get labeled the Uncle Tom sellout, because here I am, I'm an officer too. So he comes in, he's drunk, he's belligerent, yada yada yada. Oh God, this dude was stupid. So I'm over here trying to take his damn cuffs off his legs. He tries to kick at me, and I grab him by his foot, and I'm down at his foot, grab him by his back, like, "Dude, do not kick at me again, or you will go down to the ground. Do you understand me?" And he just, belligerent, but whatever. So I'm trying to finish up. Then he kicks again. He goes down to the ground, and after we clear him up for the initial process, we throw him into the drunk tank, and then he just yells at me. He belligerently says, "Nigger," at me. I'm like, I'm like, I don't think it works that well because we're black, but I see what you're trying to do. But okay, fine. I just closed the door on him. I'm like, God damn, this man. Oh man, some weird times. But the main point is, you cannot let these little poking the bear trigger moments that people are trying to provoke you make you act out of sorts. And sometimes, you want to get verbal and freaking, bump gums with people. You want to do that. But to put hands on people when they're not being a threat, that's where the line has been crossed. Another bad way, this is probably the dark one, self-mutilization, harming yourself.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. Wow, I wasn't even thinking on that level, but that's terrible. Yeah,
I remember some female I was okay friends with. She was recovering from that by they have like a rubber band technique sometimes where they use the rubber band to pop their wrist to get the pain to ease them, I guess, rather than straight up stabbing or worse. I don't know. And so when it comes to stress, harming yourself, harming others to handle your stress is not the good way. And don't also beat yourself up emotionally, like telling yourself that, I got this one young cat, he does something that really irritates me. He always talks down about himself. I'm like, dude, you need to stop that. You're over here just calling yourself a piece of shit when you didn't do anything. Come on. And it's like, it's a lack of his own self-esteem. And honestly, about this whole stress thing, I believe self-esteem is the lack thereof is the biggest problem. People don't feel good about themselves, and it's not about you shouldn't superficially try to make yourself feel good. It's more about especially for men. This applies greatly to men. You are what you do, what you repeatedly do. So find something positive to do. Put your skills, your work, and your discipline to good use and develop something positive. Look at my man Kevin right here. Superhuman Apparel is going to go worldwide just because he said so. Look at this grind. So when you look at it. So that's a positive action right there. I have several other people who are um, personal trainers and whatnot. They're on that grind. I applaud them for that.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, that's a good thing too to help you get rid of stress. When you see somebody doing great, don't bad them. Don't shoot them down because they're trying to do something better. Show some appreciation. It may not be something you want. You may not 100% believe in them, but show that appreciation. At least they're trying something. It could be what motivates you to try something.
Facts.
So to wrap it up, don't try to go self-destructive. Don't hurt other people, and don't belittle yourself or others. Try to look at the positive light of what's going on and find your own positive light yourself. That centimeter of positive light, just it's there. And once you lock onto it, you keep moving towards it.
Facts, man. Yo, well said, Tony. Well, man, super well said. You hit so much, you know, that's it's real. I mean, that's the reality though. There's a lot of people who fall into these categories of what you're talking about. And guess what? They're not even like crazy or insane, right?
Right.
They're just in a state and they're in a state in which they have started to choose wrong ways of dealing with their issue. We all do it. Some people just do it in that area. You know what I'm saying? But we all go through situations where we have to learn from what we're doing that's wrong in a given area to try to deal with it. Like it is what it is. I think that's a part of us being human. And a lot of the times, man, these people, they just need to speak and talk to someone. They need help. They need guidance. They need healthier habits and healthier ways to cope. Don't make them insane, and don't make them a psychopath or a sociopath. I always talk to my wife about it because you know, I love mental health. Me getting into mental health really helped me. Like a lot of stuff y'all hear me talk about is simply from me devoting time to research and understanding mental health. So me and my wife, we talk about it a lot, and we both had a pretty rough upbringing. We both have similar things that we experienced in our childhood. So we're both healing at the same time in similar areas. It's deep how it works like that. But anyway, I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, look, babe, most of us aren't crazy. The percentage is very low. A lot of us just were raised up in certain situations and we learned terrible, bad coping mechanisms and bad ways to deal with shit. That's it, you know? So if there's an individual who is doing self mutilization, if you watch them right now and you fall into that category, don't feel crazy or anything like that. It's just time to get some assistance and some help to find a more healthier way to cope with the pain that you're experiencing. You know, I haven't really done that before. That never was my way of dealing with pain. So I can't specifically feel your pain, but all I'm saying is I know I had other ways that was bad, for with dealing with my pain that wasn't good for me either. And I had to figure out healthier and new ways to deal with stress. And that's what I recommend to you guys, man. So nobody's crazy if they're doing that. I know it's pretty deep and it's pretty severe and it's pretty intense, but we don't want to judge these people, man. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their issues, everybody got ways that they deal with it and cope. So I'm sending healing energy to anybody who's dealing with that stuff right now. I send healing energy to you right now, man. And you'll overcome it for sure. But yeah, so with that whole concept, like wrong ways of dealing with stress, I'm gonna tell you one wrong way right now. And it's something that I literally did all the time. But trying to find a vice, like drinking, smoking, drugs, there's so many different things that could turn into a vice. And a lot of the times we turn to these things because of stress. A lot of the times we turn to these things because we're not managing our stress well enough. So the outcome of mismanaged stress causes huge symptoms like anxiety, like depression, like antisocial, traits, um, anger, feeling irritated, uh, avoiding people and avoiding things. That's usually the outcome to stress not being managed. And what does that lead people to do? It leads them to do what? Drink, smoke, do drugs, get high. And some people and some men even have vices like messing with prostitutes, promiscuity. That's a big one. Don't nobody want to talk about that though, especially when it comes to men. I think I might do we might have to do a podcast on that because men be getting saluted like, yeah, man, get all the pussy in the world, but people who are overly promiscuous, that could be a problem. Anything that you're addicted to, or anything that has power over you like that, to the point where you are just like, that's all you doing. A lot of times it's a vice. A lot of the times these men are doing this to try to take their mind off of whatever's going on, pain, trauma, uh, demons that they haven't dealt with. It's a number of things. So that's why I say this is a wrong way to deal with stress. You know what I'm saying? This is a wrong way to try to handle your stress. I used to do it. I used to drink, because I would feel anxious when going to parties, going to the club, being around other people. I'd be anxious. I'd, be nervous. I'd be going through a lot of emotions. So what would I do? I'd drink. And then it's like, oh shit, all right, I'm a socialite now. I'm the dopest person in the world. You know what I'm saying? And that's not that's not the way to handle stress. People loved me when I was tipsy until I got mad. Then when I got mad, now motherfuckers are scared. You see what I'm saying? And that's that double-edged sword to these vices. You see, when you use these vices to help you, at first it seemed like it's perfect. It's like, oh, this is amazing. And then it's the double-edged sword. You get that other side of the sword where you're either acting terribly, you're hurting people, you're obviously not controlling yourself because you're so inebriated or whatever the case. And that's the double-edged sword of it. That's why you don't want to go to vices to deal with your stress. That's the wrong way to do it. If people drink recreationally in moderation, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You drink a couple beers, this, that, and the third, boom, 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 with your boys or whatever, you're going to ride out. It's responsible. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are getting drunk simply because you are trying to deal with the stress, the anxiety, whatever you got going on, that's not the way to handle stress.
I'm guilty of that one myself. I'm lucky I caught it when I did, though. When I caught myself saying I can't go out unless I got some drinks in me, it kind of made me in tune. Like, you know what? I'm not a social butterfly, but to keep pounding this alcohol just to go out, nah, it wasn't gonna work. I still got a thing of Crown Royal Black. I bought it last year. It's still in there, basically full.
Wow, you ain't took a sip out of it, or you opened it, but you probably took a couple shots. But
there's like maybe 3 shots I took out of that.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And even like that's the thing. That's the power. When I was saying we're created in the image of God, that's what I mean. Like these types of abilities, like awareness and like self-reflection, is a powerful power that we have that gets hugely overlooked because of what I was saying earlier. We're so distracted by the trigger. We're so distracted by what the person is doing, to whereas we miss out on our power in that moment. We actually have a choice to look inward and deal with ourselves. So you saying that too, man, it reminds me of that. It reminds me of that powerful gift that we have as people that's being overlooked. We can look inward. We can really dig deep within ourselves to figure out what's going on. And yeah, I had to stop too, man. I had to stop because that same routine, I was doing it for years. And then I stopped drinking when I started going to church. And, I did get a bit overtly religious a bit. But the good thing is I stopped drinking. So that was good. But, eventually me and one of my guys I was going to church with, we ended up getting a bottle of wine. Then it turned into a half gallon of some vodka. Then now we're going back to the club. You know what I'm saying? Now we in there, dancing with the honeys, and just
turn it up.
Turn it up in that mother. We supposed to be at church. We supposed to be going to church the next morning. We at the club, to the window, to the wall,
Oh, yeah.
So, that's when I realized that it was a problem. That's when I'm like, oh, this is really a problem. I somehow found my way back into it. Somehow found my way back into using that as a vice again. So eventually, I just figured out ways to overcome that. And guess how I overcame it? It was literally by me looking inward, researching the shit that I was feeling and experiencing, and understanding why. Why am I anxious? Why am I nervous? Where does this come from? Once I started to fill my brain with this knowledge, a lot of the anxiety and a lot of these things started to leave. So then I was able to go to the club or go out or chill with people sober and enjoy myself.
Mhm.
So that's what I mean, guys. If we're resorting to alcohol, drugs, and all these things to help with those issues, it's just a small bandage and it's a double edged sword. So essentially, it'll bandage your sword, it'll put a bandage over your wound, and then you're gonna pull that damn bandage off real quick. You know, when you don't want to, no, don't rip it off. Don't take the bandage off because it kind of hurt a little bit. It's like, how? Give me that damn
Ah,
bandage. But so yeah, that's the double-edged sword, man. So essentially what I'm saying is that's the wrong way to deal with the stress. The best way to deal with those things is to dig deep and to understand why you may be dealing with anxiety, feeling nervous, or feeling the things that make you feel like you need to drink before you go out or enjoy yourself or listen, if we gotta get drunk to enjoy ourselves,
mm,
that was me, man. That was me. I'd be lying to y'all right now if I said it wasn't. I had to get drunk to have sex, y'all. I'm being real vulnerable with y'all right now. Yeah, like it was that rough, man. It was that I really was dealing with anxiety on that level, bro. Like, not necessarily drunk, but I had to sip. I had to get a little tipsy. If I was drunk, obviously that was gonna kind of kill it, unless depending on the situation. But anyway, yeah, my point is the best thing that we could do is just deal with those things in a healthy way. Deal with your stress in a healthy way. But yeah, I know I was talking for a while on that one, but that's a big one. Another one would be obviously, like Tony was saying, don't put your hands on nobody, don't fight nobody, obviously. But another thing too, when you're stressed out by somebody, oh man, this is a big one right here. This I don't know who can relate to this one. If you can, take heed to what I'm saying, because I wasted a lot of time, years of my life with this one, and I went through a lot of stress with this one. But if you're dealing with someone whose incompetence, um,
sorry. That one's close to home right there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
you probably gonna be able to relate then for sure. You probably gonna be able to relate. But if you're dealing with somebody's incompetence or someone's issues, they got a lot of issues, and it seems to trigger the fuck out of you when these people are around you and they're either moving incompetently or they're not meeting the mark or just these different things where you're working with somebody and it's always something with them.
Mhm.
And it's their issues as to why things aren't going the way that they should in your mind, right?
Mhm.
Stop the wrong okay, this is what I'll say. The wrong way of trying to deal with that trigger that you're dealing with and that stress that you're dealing with is by trying to fix that person or trying to make it easier for that person to meet the mark, to be competent. Because essentially what's happening, first and foremost, let me say this. When we're doing that, the only reason why we're doing that is because we're pretty much we're triggered by them. And that's the only reason why we're doing that. It's not even about the person in the moment. Even though we making it about the person, even though we like, yo, you this and you doing this and trying to tell people about themselves and everything. The only reason why we really even saying shit is because it's triggering us.
Mhm.
So the wrong thing to do is to try to force somebody to change or try to force somebody to improve. Because guess what? If they don't or they don't want to do it, ain't shit gonna happen. So guess what? You're gonna continuously be triggered by this person until you just separate yourself from the person. But what happens when that person, it's not that simple. Is you just separating yourself from the person? It ain't that simple. What happens then? What if it's a family member? What if it's your mom? What if it's what if it's a very a close person that's not as disposable? That is the wrong way of dealing with the stress of being triggered. Now, if they are doing things intentionally, that's a different ball game. Just like I said earlier, if they know and they are literally like purposely doing shit to piss you off, that's a different ball game. But I'm talking about maybe, maybe they're dealing with things or dealing with issues which is causing them to perform and act in a way that's very triggering to you. Don't try to fix the person to try to deal with your trigger. That's the wrong way of dealing with the stress. And I did this for years, guys. And all it did was made me more stressful. It made me more exhausted because I put so much energy into trying to fix and improve the person, or trying to get the person to see, like, yo, you got to stop doing this and you got to stop doing that. I was taking advantage of my own energy and time and self trying to do that, you know? And that is the wrong way to do it. All it does is make you more stressful, especially if the person, like, doesn't really fully get it. So now you got to argue with the motherfucker. You got to argue with the person constantly for a long time. You're having long talks with the person, and they still, they don't even really get it or see shit. Man, this is the wrong way of dealing with the stress, guys. I'm telling you, it is. And it will.
So go ahead and say, I'm struggling with that one. I really am.
Listen, me and you, both, bro. It took me some time to really get this shit. Honestly, I was like, damn, I can't believe it took me so long to realize, like, I've been stressing myself out with people, and with these types of scenarios. And it was when I just stopped, and when I was like, oh, okay, this is why my day feels like shit after these situations, or this is why I feel terrible after these situations, is because I'm taking advantage of my own energy right now, like, because I'm triggered. How about I stop trying to fix the person, right? And how about I allow them to fix themselves? And how about I stop trying to talk to them and let them see and learn on their own about what's going on with them? How about I just express my feelings about the situation one time and then walk the fuck away, instead of trying to, force them into changing so that I'm not triggered no more, even if I'm right or wrong. And let me tell you another deep thing, Tony. I don't know if you can relate to this one, but as I really, really looked deeper into this and I started to realize what I was doing, if you say you relate, then you understand too. I started to realize that, shit, a lot of the times I was wrong, man. Like, because of why I was doing it, my mind and my ego made me think that I was doing it because I'm trying to help somebody. But in all actuality, that wasn't the case. I was just tired of being fucking triggered. That's why I was doing all that shit. So with that being said, I made the most progress with multiple people in my life when I stopped trying to tell people about themselves, and when I stopped trying to fix people, and when I stopped trying to tell people about themselves and trying to force people to change. And the funny thing happened, they started to realize where they was going wrong at. It was like when I shut the fuck up, when I walked away, and when I stopped doing all of that, they start coming to me and start, apologizing to me or telling me like, hey man, boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, wow. Man, so I've been stressing myself out all this time and making myself more stressed by putting all this energy in. And it wasn't even really producing what it is I was looking for. I still was triggered, still was stressed, still was triggered. So this is the wrong way, guys, to deal with stress in these types of scenarios. You can't fix nobody. You can't change nobody. And if the people, I'm just real quick, and if the people do begin to change, it's only because they are making the conscious decision to change and they are doing it. It's not even us doing all the talking or all of the trying to tell people about themselves, all this shit. It's them. They changed because they chose to change.
That's something I struggle with. I don't try to do. I can be preachy. I'll admit I can be preachy, especially you give me on my pro male topics.
Yeah.
But it's like what triggers me double time is like, okay, I see you messing up. I might want to coach you a little bit, but then when you turn around and complain about the results of your behavior, you're getting these results, and you come around and complain about them. that triggers me even more. I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I tell you to do this so you wouldn't have to do this? But you want to be ignoring what I say to just keep complaining. And that triggers me the most. So I have to learn before I get that super hyped, I have to pull myself back. You have to just wallow in your own muck at this time. You made your bed, now you got to lie in it. I cannot let you drain my energy to basically, and like you said, you can't fix anybody. That's the one thing I did learn from anger management. I can't be responsible for someone's actions. And no matter how much I may want to save them, it's like, damn, how about you just give a fuck? It's like, that's where I want to be at. I'm like, how about you actually give a fuck about what you do a little bit instead of just being nonchalant? Oh, well, I don't want to do. Ooh, I can feel it right now. It's just irritating. So I do have to. I learned it a little bit more. I have not mastered it because that is my trigger. I have to pull back and let people destroy themselves. You know, it is what it is. Let it burn. That's where I gotta be at.
Bro, me and you both. Me and you both, man. And the funny thing is what you'll see and what you'll find and what I've found is that the people, they don't destroy themselves. So it's like once it get to, some people just need that. Once they get right by the fire, sometimes by themselves and they ain't got nobody there with them, they're like, oh shit, they go to fire. Let me get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? And I had to accept that and I had to realize that. I had to realize that me trying to tell people about themselves or tell people about what they're doing wrong only took their attention off of themselves and it made them become more defensive. And you know, when we become defensive, it ain't about ourselves anymore. It's about the other person at that point. So if I'm gonna keep going to people and triggering people to be defensive, they ain't gonna never be looking to themselves. They ain't never gonna be thinking about themselves. So, and essentially, I wasn't helping people. I was actually holding people back from accepting who they really are and from accepting what their real issues are in the moment. Like the biggest thing with that too is understanding that people do have to figure out and learn shit on their own. It hurts, especially when it's somebody that you love. But I realized the biggest discredit that I was doing to these people that I love was I was stopping them from learning on their own. And I also had to realize that, me being triggered by this shit, this is my problem. I need to dig deep and I need to really understand, why does this shit trigger me so much? That's their problem. They having these issues. They are going through whatever they're going through. And guess what I figured out? I figured out that it was a way for me to step away from my own issues. It was a way for me to actually take my attention off my own issues and to put it on somebody else. I started realizing that instead of me taking my taking responsibility for my issues and possibly the situation or just the bigger picture, it's easy for me to just laser focus on somebody and their issues because now I ain't got to look at me no more. I'm telling you, when I woke up, bro, man, that's another thing too. It's been a minute since I did the VKP episodes. I don't know if you remember when I was dropping those. Those was kind of like sub episodes, sub podcasts to this podcast. I'm gonna start back doing that because I'm gonna get into all these types of things. It's pretty much the VKP Gems series. I'm gonna get back into that. I'm gonna even do a video probably on this specific thing too, because I'm sure a lot of guys go through this, especially guys who are leaders, masculine men too. A lot of us masculine men go through this because we feel like we have to do something about the situation immediately. We're even willing to fucking sacrifice ourselves to do something about the situation, and that's what we got to stop doing. You know, we have to stop sacrificing ourselves, Joe, because it doesn't help us, and it don't even improve the situation. Like, man, this is the biggest thing right here, honestly. Like, this is what I'm saying right now. If you deal with this, some men might not, but if you do, I'm telling you, take heed to what I'm saying, man, because it'll change your life, and you will notice a tremendous drop in your stress. I just started walking away. You know what I'm saying? I just started walking away. I started expressing my feelings, being assertive, and then walking away. No more arguing back and forth about something that I know is factual or true. No more debating or any of that. It's like, just gonna walk away, man, and give you time to think about it, because sometimes that's what motherfuckers need. Sometimes that's what people need. and we get in the way trying to talk to them and tell them like, we're stopping them from actually seeing what's going on with them. So because they just feel like, oh, I got to defend myself now because this person is pointing out my wrongs.
Oh, damn it. I just got triggered. Because I'm like, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Just accept it and move on. Let's move on better now. Damn it.
I feel you, man. Especially as men.
I like, and me, I have this little, I do like to debate because I accept the possibility I may be wrong in whatever I'm believing. That's why I like debating. Hey, maybe this person has a different view that, actually can change my mind. And not to brag or anything, but that's a sign of an intelligent mind. It's like, hey, maybe I'm wrong. Let me learn. So you open yourself up to these debates, and then, but when I'm dead ass cornered you in like the logical trap, and you can't just accept it, it's like, why? Now I'm angry, but I feel sorry for you because you're just sounding even more like an idiot right now. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. And then that's when I start interrupting people because it's like, I heard this one before. Don't be an idiot. No, stop because you did this. Man, told you. Why you gotta be doing these topics when they're so close to home? I'm still coming down from the heat of another headbutt. Jesus. Oh. You're wrong. Just admit it. You're wrong. Stop being stupid. I'm helping you. Help me. Help you.
Just catch on. Damn. Catch on. But that's the thing. That's the biggest thing, bro. I'm telling you, Tony. Let me tell you, this is gonna sound funny. Okay. But because I'm like that too. I love the debate. A lot of people who are intellectual have that interest in that love, right? And I could tell you're intellectual too. I think that's why we do good with the podcast. And we're able to have dialogue and we're able to dig deep on things. It's because we're both intellectual men. Intellectual people like the debate. And a lot of times we like to do it simply for like you were just saying a few minutes ago, more so clarity or truth or knowing who's right or who's wrong or knowing what's right, what's wrong. I guess it's not really black and white. I mean, everybody's right and wrong is going to be different, but I guess what's accurate, that's the best way to put it. What's accurate? Accuracy. And I really just had to figure out. I had to sympathize for a second and put myself in the other person's shoes and just think for a second, like, okay, what if he or she was coming to me and pointing out something that I'm supposedly doing wrong?
Can I answer it? Can I answer it? Yeah. I accept that. I accept that challenge right there. Somebody wanted to say there's thousands of stories of me being a bully, right? Mm-hmm. So my response to that, name one. Well, I don't gotta name one and all that bunch of bullshit. I'm like, so there's thousands of stories and you can't name one? You're fucking lying. God. So you gotta open yourself up to take the hits. That's like the core belief of the debating process, accepting the possibility you may be wrong. So okay, if you're gonna make this claim, hey, I'll put myself on a chopping block every fucking day because I don't want to be wrong. I have a very black and white mentality and I don't want to be wrong. So yes, I'll put myself on the chopping block. Go ahead, bring down the axe. We'll see what happens. But if I can block the axe or resist it, not because of my ego, but because you haven't put any facts on the table, fuck you, you're wrong. Let's try again.
I feel you on that. And here's the thing. I totally understand that because I've been there and I agree. I agree with that. I say that a lot of times too. And this is how I know we see eye to eye. Do you tend to be the person in a situation that honestly most of the time is not wrong in these different debacles or different situations that you're discussing? Do you end up being the person that really, like, truthfully isn't in the wrong most of the time?
No, I'm not ever. I don't want to say that 100%, but no, I'm not wrong because most of the time, because if I uncertain about something, I usually lay back and try to refocus the situation before I develop a hard opinion. Yeah. But when it's something in my wheelhouse and you got some of these just lollygagging motherfuckers who come in there just bullshitting, I'm like, I have that gatekeeper mentality. I want to keep this fuck shit away from the operation that I actually care about. And if I tell you, hey, I'm coming at you, hey, young man, yada yada, you're fucking up, and this is why you're not doing this. Oh, well, I gotta do.
You want to hear that? I feel
let,
you.
let me try one more time before I go off.
So,
I'm sorry.
and look, that's my point. Now, here's another question: do you tend to be the person who admits when you're in the wrong? Like, are you the type of person who will come forward, be like, you know what? Yeah, I was wrong for this. Boom, boom, boom. Are you that type?
Yes, because another example back in the CO days, one of my officers was talking about the way we mark some of the sales for special situations.
Yeah.
So I'm over here looking at it like, wait, are you sure this is right? Because this seems like this should be the way. She said no, and she was like, no, this is right because yada 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 yada. You're right. Boom. When you take your L, your logical L, you grow. You immediately grow. If you don't have no ego behind your opinion, you don't get married to your opinion. You got to stick closer to the facts. That's what it is, and that's the battle of the ego rather than you have to, what's the word? You have to follow the evidence, not lead it. Because
Facts.
you only trying to stick to the thing. You already have, everybody has like a belief that they believe is true. You can't just look for the evidence that only supports you. Maybe the hard evidence is what you have to follow. And I don't know, it's like I learned this so long ago. And then when I come across older people who are just idiots, it's like, wow, you are older than me. You got gray hairs all over the place and you still acting like a fucking juvenile. Are you fucking kidding me? No.
Bro,
I'm embarrassed for you. I know you don't feel embarrassed because that's your ego, but I'm embarrassed for you. Why am I here?
like I feel sad. I'm sorry for you, man. I'm about to pray for you real quick. Hold, give me a couple minutes. Let me pray real quick for you. I feel you. I be on that too. Like, but see, here's the thing. And the reason why I ask you those questions, Tony, is because we agree. I ask you those because I fall into that category too. That's my response too. Most of the time in situations, I'm usually right, and it ain't no cocky shit or nothing. It's just like the truth. You can't go around the truth. And I don't be wanting to rub the shit in or nothing. Like, it is what it is. Also, I tend to be the individual that expresses when I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong, my wife could tell you this, and most people who've been around me can tell you this shit. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm gonna say it. I'm like, you know what, I'm wrong, or I did this, and that wasn't right. I apologize. I'll even apologize. I'm not this. Oh, I'm an alpha male. I don't say sorry. Fuck that. If I'm wrong, I apologize. That's. I think that is alpha. I think that is a masculine man. Here's the point, and this is what's gonna bring it home. Since we are those types of people, and men, other men who's watching, if you're this type of dude too, listen, this is why we have to step away. Because since we tend to be the individual who's right majority of the time, since we are usually the one who's going to express and be honest when we wrong, 8 to 9 times out of 10, the person that we're talking about is wrong and they know they wrong. So when we keep trying to get them to understand, and we keep getting, because we're so triggered by it, guess what? They're going to keep going with the shit simply because they know they're wrong. And it's not even, a lot of the times these individuals don't even mean any harm, right? It's just their complex or their complexity of dealing with when they're wrong. Some people really just hate that shit so much that they're ashamed of it. Like, they don't even, they despise being in that position so much that they're ashamed. They don't even want to accept it. See, me and you, we're the type where we'll admit it. We're like, yo, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. But these individuals, they're not like that. So once I started to realize that, and us, Tony, and other men, other kings is watching, if you can relate to what we're saying, we tend to attract those types of people. That's why we end up being right most of the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? That's why we end up being fucking right most of the time. So
you want to be wrong, you stay the fuck over there with that wrongness. Don't bring it over here, please.
Yeah. But then the fucked up thing about it is they don't even be bringing it to us. We go to them. And the reason why we go to them is simply because we are trying to resolve situations. See, this, I'm telling you, bro, it's funny. Never would have thought that I really would have been able to, tack on a flaw in masculinity, but it actually is a flaw because we end up hurting ourselves in that flaw. Not a flaw in terms of hurting others, but well, actually, yeah, we do end up hurting them too because we keep pushing it so much, and then we just further push them into the rabbit hole of still not accepting the fucking truth about themselves. So we are hurting them too, and we're hurting ourselves.
I'm hurting you for your own good. I hate to make it sound bad. This is for your own good. Stop being an idiot.
Accept the truth, motherfucker. Accept the truth. Damn it. I feel you, man. But from what I've learned and my findings, bro, that shit never works. And I've become a fucking expert at this shit, Tony, because me and my wife, I'm telling you, we've been through our ups and downs, and we've grown so much and made so much progress. I'm so thankful. But man, we had to go through a whole list of shit. The reason why I got this wisdom, honestly, is because how much I had to learn shit to make it through what we were going through. You know what I'm saying? It got crazy, bro. And that's where a lot of this wisdom came from. That's where a lot of like this understanding came from. I prayed about it. Obviously, God revealed, and I started taking heed. And I'm like, oh, so I got this shit backwards. Once I flipped it, Tony, once I flipped the shit, bro, I'm talking about a complete difference. Like, the individuals will usually come to me and they'd be like, yo, you know what, Kev, man, you was right. Or my wife will come to me and be like, babe, I'm sorry, boom, boom, boom. And that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, this is the cheat code. I'm actually fucking myself up because I want us to come to a resolve, but my approach is actually pushing us further away from a resolve. And what ends up happening is I either hurt them or they hurt me, or we argue or whatever. And then it takes a day for us to come to a resolve. Whereas now, I just make my motherfucking statement and walk away, clutch my balls and walk away like a grown ass man. And let them let them think about the shit on their own.
What you think about it? You know what? ABC. Where I'm done. But gone. Let you think about it.
Let you think about it. Unless they respond in an understanding way. See, I had to learn too, like, I had to learn that if the situation isn't agreeable, right? Or if the situation isn't a healthy, disagreeable moment, it's not worth it at the time. If emotions are heightened, it's not worth it at the time. It's time to walk the fuck away. Once I learned that and I figured that shit out, it gave me power. I'm like, oh. Then that's when guess what? Another thing, Tony, when I started walking away, I was able to reflect and look inward into me. Then I was able to start seeing where I've been going wrong all these years. And I'm like, oh shit. So technically, no homo, but I've been fucking myself in the ass. Like no Vaseline. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking like no Vaseline. Like I'm hurting myself in this situation.
That can't be comfortable.
Hell nah. No. So
even when it comes to our pro male subjects, especially dropping red pills, I know I'm vocal about it, but it's not like I'm bringing forth the conversation. I usually let the young brats bring it to me, and I give you my honest opinion. But I have learned throughout this, you know what? You made your own choice, and fine. I walk away. It's just funny when I see them when we're talking about it. It's like, yeah, you're right, and then you end up complaining about the same shit because you didn't listen to anything I said. Like this one cat, he wanted to say how he ain't got no damn money, but yet he had not one but two kids on the way because this single mother who's already got kids basically trapped him. He literally got pussy whipped, and then he's like, man, I know you're gonna be upset with me. Why? He's like, why? What did you do? That's immediately what I said. And then he's like, well, I got a kid on the way and stuff like that. So only thing I did was, I told you about this, I told you about that, and you still did that. He's like, yep, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm done. I didn't let him stress me out. I'm like, I gave you all the tools necessary to avoid the situation. You did it. I'm done. I can't do anything with you.
Yeah, and I mean, and see, that's a totally different ball game. In which, if you were to press it with him, like obviously, yeah, that's a it is what it is situation. That's one of those I told you so moments, and it's such a made move to be like, I told you so, man. Like that's whack, you know. At that point, there's nothing to talk about. It's like, all right, bet. I tried to tell you, motherfucker. You don't even got to say it though, because they already know. That's why they'll even come to you and say that. But in a nutshell, the whole point of that though is, that's a wrong way to deal with that type of stress. If an individual is triggering you, um, if they're triggering you to that degree where you feel like you got to really, really put them in a place and tell them about themselves and correct them and show them where they're going wrong. If they don't want to accept that they're wrong in the moment, get ready for 30 minutes to an hour of just stressful back and forth. And all that do is stress you out even more. It doesn't help you. You essentially what you end up doing is you end up taking on their energy. So what they start to do is they start to project that negative energy onto you. That's where the stress is really coming from in those scenarios. I had to learn this shit. I'm like, wow, now I'm actually absorbing their energy, their negative energy. So once I started turning away and saying like, all right, bet, lay down the law, whether it's my wife and I'm like, hey, I know we communicated and said this happened, but I was confused when this happened. And I was expecting this in this situation. Lay that down. If we talk about it and she's accepting and she's like, oh, you know what? I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Boom, boom, boom. It won't happen again. And I realize why I went wrong. If she say that, then we good. But if it's a different ball game where she like, no, see, this is why this happened. And boom, we'll start, throwing a whole bunch of excuses and this, that, and the third. Then I already know, okay, that's my time to check out. Because we're gonna be going back and forth for about 2 hours, and at the end of the day, that's just gonna stress me the hell out. And then even because I'm gonna be trying so hard to prove to my wife where she wrong at, and in that moment, she probably just don't want to even accept that she wrong, right? That's the formula, Tony. I'm telling you, if you can relate to what I'm saying right now, bro, I'm telling you, just try it out, man. For the next couple times you get in this scenario, and tell me, bro, let me know like if it worked, and I guarantee you're gonna be like, yo, Kevin, man, that shit worked, bro. Like, thank you. Especially if you tend to get real stressed.
Well, thankfully, my promotion lets me be away from these jokers a long time. So,
oh, you got promoted?
My promotion basically, I got a Monday through Friday set position, even though I still grind to pick up those extra posts and extra assignments. But the one where I'm by myself, I'm like, good. I got the people under here under wraps. Freaking, I don't got to be worried about these other cats trying to make me look bad or coming behind me junking up the mess. And then I got to deal with other people. Oh well, the other person did it this way. He failed you because he showed you wrong.
I can't stand when people do that shit, yo. I hate that. Like, if you do something a certain way and you're doing it the right way, and then they be like, oh, well, this person does it this way. It's like, motherfucker, I'm not that person. You with me now. This is how I do it. Like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I hate that. It's crazy.
I think being able to laugh about the triggers and acknowledge them is healthy. The sign of health. Like I'm acknowledging it. I'm laughing. I'm trying to calm it down instead of it just, okay, I murder whatever is in front of me right now.
Yo, and that's the thing. That is a sign of health and growth. I started to do that. Like, it's funny. This is gonna be funny. So once I started walking away in a lot of these cases, I'd be able to see shit from a mile away. So it actually did start getting funny to me. I'm like, oh, all right, here we go again. here go this shit again. And guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna say what I gotta say, and I'm gonna walk the fuck away. The biggest thing and the biggest gem that I received is people the truth concerning people will always be revealed to them. Like we don't have to do it because essentially when we try to take on that responsibility of doing that for them, we don't realize it, but subconsciously we also taking on their negative energy and what they're doing too. And we unfortunately feel a bit responsible for that too. That's why we end up trying so hard to fix it or to fix them. It's very deep and it's psychological, but and in a sense, that's really what that is, man. Unfortunately, it's like it's our need to fix the situation, and we feel responsible if it ain't fixed. That's why we go so hard. And
Oh,
yeah,
can I throw just a little curveball in the mix here?
sure,
Okay.
sure.
With the way things are going right now, I do believe that passion to correct a situation is more of a necessity right now. I'm not saying it's our responsibility per se, but that pushback of bullshit coming down the pipe, I think it is really important because did you hear this phrase before? All it takes for evil to win is for good men to do nothing.
Mm, that's a fact. I've never heard that phrase, but that's a fact, though.
So that's where I'm at. If I do nothing, this problem is going to just escalate.
Now,
You
see, I
know,
ain't
and
say you can't do nothing. Now, I ain't say you couldn't do nothing.
okay. It's not like it's like I understand, like from the stress point of view, it's like, hey, it's not really my issue. I got to handle my stress in a different way. I get it. But one part, I think there are people who are the gatekeepers who are ready to want that smoke. As in, it's not about asserting your will per se. It's about, hey, this is the standard. We're going to maintain it. I
Mm.
believe those people, I guess people of our character and have that mental drive are suited for those roles.
No, no, no. I totally agree with that, Tony. And I don't want it to be misconstrued. I'm not saying like don't do nothing. So like that's why you heard me say you say what you got to say and then you walk away. So essentially, in your masculinity, saying what you got to say, bottom line, is enough. We take it further. Like once we say what we got to say, and then the individuals respond with whatever in a defensive way, it turns into a back and forth, right? I know
Okay.
you know about that.
Yes.
Um, so with that being said, essentially that's really all we got to do. It's kind of like, hmm, that's where the stress comes in. It's not us addressing something or making a statement about something, but it's
Mhm.
the aftermath. So it's all the shit that happens after the statement, depending on how the individual takes it. So if they
Mhm.
take it in a way where they're defensive, they don't agree, they don't give a fuck what you're saying, you are completely wrong, and that's what they're showing you. But in truth, if you really are right, they know they wrong, and they just gonna keep arguing with you just to fucking stress you the fuck out. Period. So that's what I mean. Like I don't mean do nothing. I mean say what you got to say, make your point, make it clear, and if they receive it well, then boom, it shouldn't even turn into a back and forth like that. But if they don't, it's time to get the fuck out of Dodge because it's gonna just turn into a straight up pattern cycle, and that's where all that stress come in. So that's essentially what I'm saying. But I agree with you on that. We should do something. We have to say something. We have to address things as men. Period. So
Man, this was a good one.
yeah, it was, man. It was. It definitely a very good one, and I'm glad, man. That's why I'm gonna make sure that on all of our episodes, I'm gonna make sure that we're definitely hitting specific topics that men need because we are in dire need right now, man. Especially where the world is going, where society is going. We are in dire need of what it means to be a man. And I don't know everything. Trust me. This is shit that I've learned from trial and error. So it's not like I'm trying to say like, oh, I know everything, you know what I'm saying? And or like I'm the standard for a man. Man, I got a lot of shit I'm still working on and becoming more of a man and more masculine. So guys, don't ever take that the wrong way, y'all. I'm not on here trying to front like, and I'm sure Tony ain't either. Like we're not on here fronting like we're the most masculine, powerful man. We are growing and learning and evolving as men, you know.
Correct. It's not. I guess that's a sign of our masculinity. It's not an ego trip. It's,
Facts.
it's, not, this is not an ego trip. We're doing this, and hopefully, to the younger cats, maybe even the older cats, to not repeat the same mistakes we made because we
Yes.
care about masculinity. We care about the better outcome. So these stories, these fireside chats right here, are to help. Just because you may be wrong in the scenario that we maybe talk about, you might be the one that needs to change, but it helps. And basically that's me being light to the situation, because if you got to be resistant to it, it is what it is. I want to listen to Kevin right now and just like, all right, I got to step back. So,
Got to, man. I'm telling you, you will thank yourself later. If you've been doing this for years, Tony. All right, and one more quick question on that, and then we can move on. But
okay.
when you do those things, be 100% honest. Do you feel drained a bit in some of those scenarios, like where you are literally going back and forth with these people, trying to tell them and show them where they're wrong at, or whatever the case? Do you feel a bit drained after that?
Yes.
I'm telling you, Tony, do this, and then you're gonna be like, wow, because all of that draining, you ain't even got to worry about it no more, man. You'll realize that in all actuality, you're not responsible for if these individuals know the truth or accept the truth or even admit to being wrong. Like, that's their choice at the end of the day. We can't force nobody to do that shit. That's another thing I had to figure out. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to force somebody to do something good for them. Like, the fuck? If they don't want to, they don't want to do it. They ain't gonna do the shit. So I'm wasting my energy on this shit. But yeah, but on that note, real quick, y'all, before we head out of here, got another sponsor, guys, Superhuman Labs. Y'all already know what it is, man. All powerful supplements, all herbs, powerful stuff. We have multiple products, 3 right now. One powerful product is Virility. It's a natural testosterone support supplement, which helps improve everything. Virility, literally what it says, your sex drive, help you lower your body fat, gives you blessed energy, improve strength, and definitely put muscle on, muscle mass. Virility is a good one for muscle mass. But there's also 2 more products. Yeah. Hey, you looking like Tony? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Stop.
swole. You know, and yeah. So Virility is powerful for that. And then we got Maximal Libido, which is good for the athletic performance and sexual performance and stamina. And then Super Alpha Shred, which is a powerful all natural fat burner that'll help speeding your metabolism, shrink fat cells a lot easier, and it'll just help you lower your body fat and bless you with more energy as well. So play a quick video from Superhuman Labs, our sponsor, on Virility. And as y'all can see, man, that's Virility, man. Powerful product, guys. I love that video, man. That video was intense. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
It gets you a little punked. Like, hold up now.
hey, it is not far from that, guys. I'm telling you, when you take it, it puts you in that zone. It puts you in that zone, and it's an awesome supplement. I highly recommend it. So as you can see, the website right here, Superhuman Labs. Men, if you really want to take it to the next level, I highly recommend that product and the other products. We're also going to be dropping workout products very soon, so stay on the lookout. Pre-workout, CMOS capsules, glutamine, whey protein, plant-based protein, creatine, all natural products. All right, Superhuman Labs is about all natural things. So powerful company. I'm glad that I can use that company to sponsor us. And yeah, man, check them out. I'm telling you, check it out. We a lot of people are giving good reviews too. So just look online, man. You can see the reviews. But yeah, with that being said, man, listen, this was a powerful podcast as usual. Man, I think we hit everything, man. This was a good one. This was definitely a good one. I think we hit everything with that. Managing stress, guys. Manage your stress, for sure. Virility also help with that and anxiety too, or any stress, because it helps keep cortisol at a decent level as well too. That is important when it comes to testosterone, y'all. High cortisol levels will mess with your testosterone. So Virility just has all the ingredients to help with all of that. So it's a powerful product. But yeah, man, we dug deep. Look, if y'all got any questions or anything, comment below, obviously. Thank y'all again for y'all support, for watching and supporting the movement, supporting Virility Kings podcast, supporting the Superhuman brand, just everything, man. Thank y'all and salute, man. And you got any last words before we get out of here, Tony?
It will be okay. You got to look at stress as in, is it a positive, is it a negative? Can I utilize this stress to better myself, or is this a stress I have to manage in a healthy way? So just keep thinking, gents, and you will be okay, one day at a time.
Facts. And that's so true, man. Even with the use stress is good stress. You know what I'm saying? The use stress, like Tony was talking about earlier, training, working out, jogging, it's stress, but it's good stress. Use stress. Um, so, it's all about balance. That's all I can say, man. It's all about balance. We need to try our best to balance our lives out and keep things balanced. Too much of anything isn't good for us. All right. So, like I say, man, at the end of every podcast, guys, every man is a king of his own world. Embrace your masculinity and build your kingdom, kings. Salute.